Imagine being in the shoes of one of history's most infamous figures, Adolf Hitler, during World War II. Born in late 19th century Austria, young Adolf Hitler was an impassioned artist, although his dreams were quashed by a strict father. However, his life took a sharp turn when World War I broke out. Hitler enlisted, fought bravely, and earned accolades. But the aftermath of the war was a different story. The Treaty of Versailles, a peace agreement signed in 1919, was seen by Hitler as a slap in the face for Germany, a humiliation on an international scale. This feeling of resentment and the economic hardships that ensued served as a breeding ground for Hitler's rise to power. His speeches echoed the sentiments of the disgruntled Germans, promising them a return to glory, a Germany that would stand tall among world powers. And so, with these motivations firmly in place, Hitler led Germany into World War II. Hitler's strategy for war was as audacious as it was revolutionary. Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, was his strategic masterpiece. A swift, concentrated attack that aimed to shock and disrupt. Its purpose was to hit hard and fast, leaving the enemy no time to respond effectively. In the early stages of the war, this strategy was devastatingly successful. Germany's mechanized units, supported by fast-moving infantry and air power, swept through Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and France with astonishing speed. Each victory was rapid, each conquest a testament to the power of Blitzkrieg. The strategy was more than just a military tactic. It was a psychological weapon. The fear and confusion it created in the enemy ranks were as damaging as the physical destruction it wrought. Blitzkrieg was a reflection of Hitler himself, audacious, relentless, and ruthless. Blitzkrieg was a game-changer, and for a while it seemed like Hitler's ambitions were within reach. But as the war progressed, Hitler's seemingly unstoppable march began to falter. Turning tides indeed. The year was 1941, and Operation Barbarossa was in full swing. This was Hitler's grand plan to invade the Soviet Union, a move that he believed would secure Germany's dominance in Europe. But it didn't go as planned. Instead of the swift victory he had anticipated, Hitler found himself mired in a grueling and costly war of attrition against the resilient Soviet forces. The brutal Russian winters, coupled with the fierce resistance from the Red Army, proved to be more than the German troops could handle. The failure of Operation Barbarossa was a crushing blow to Hitler, a clear sign that his Blitzkrieg strategy was not invincible after all. Then came another turning point, the entry of the United States into the war. The attack on Pearl Harbor in December of 1941 pulled the U.S. out of its policy of isolationism and into the global conflict. With its industrial might and vast resources, the United States provided a significant boost to the Allied forces. The strain on Germany's resources was now palpable. The morale of the German people and the armed forces began to wane. It was clear that the tide of the war was turning against Hitler, altering his perspective and forcing him to confront the reality of a possible defeat. Hitler's dream of a German-dominated world was beginning to crumble. As the Allies closed in, Hitler's world and his perspective on the war changed drastically. The once invincible dictator now found himself confined to a bunker, his dreams of a 1,000-year Reich crumbling around him. His final days were filled with desperation and defeat. As his allies fell one after another, Hitler was left with no other choice but to confront the reality of his imminent defeat. On April 30th, 1945, Hitler took his own life, leaving behind a nation in ruins and a world scarred by his actions. The fall of Nazi Germany marked the end of the Second World War in Europe, but the legacy of Hitler's reign was far from over. Even in his final moments, Hitler failed to grasp the magnitude of his actions, the devastation he had caused. The world he left behind was one of destruction and despair, a testament to the horrors of unchecked ambition and absolute power. And yet, amidst the ruins, humanity found the resilience to rebuild, to rise from the ashes of a world war and strive for a future of peace and unity. From his perspective, Hitler may have seen himself as a hero, but history remembers him as a dictator whose ambitions led to one of the bloodiest conflicts in human history. Have you